Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma is so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
Good morning. Bonjour. Ni hao. Hola. Bienvenue. Wanjin. Bienvenidos. And welcome to another episode of The Gem Hunter. My name is Barry Mixon, and I am a gemological storyteller. And each week, what I like to do is take you on a journey, on an adventure into the art, science, history, and magic of gemstones, precious metals, and fine jewelry. I believe that gemstones can be a mental and physical and spiritual bridge, another way for people to begin to discover the value of their own stories. For the past few weeks, we have been talking about gemstones and gem identification. We talked about in order to understand what a gemstone is, you have to first understand what it is. Where did it come from? Understanding the story of a gemstone. What is it made out of? What process did it take to make it? And in order to understand what a gemstone is, you have to first establish, is it a gemstone? Is what you're looking at a gemstone? In order to do that, you have to know the attributes of a gemstone. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the attributes of the gemstone, and I told you that there was 5 of them, and we've already gone over rarity. As I told you that gemstones are extremely rare. Even though you see gemstones in supermarkets, at Walmart, and Sam's Clubs, and everywhere, believe it or not, gemstones are really rare. As I told you that we live on Earth and there's rocks everywhere. And then when you take those rocks and close it up and realize that there's 4,000 different types of minerals out there. And what a mineral is a inorganic structure that has a defined pattern. So a diamond has a structure, a certain type of structure in comparison to a ruby or a sapphire. So that's what a mineral is. And then when you take those 4,000 minerals, of those 4,000, maybe about 200 or so are gem quality. And of those 250 gemstones that myself and people like myself who are gemologists, or more importantly, gemological appraisers, we have to define what it is. And then of those 250, about 50 to maybe 100 are actually gemstones that we see each and every day. And when you study gemology, the best part about studying gemology, the study of science, the study of gemstones and precious metals, is that you really begin to talk about how you begin to realize how rare gemstones are. So we have rarity as one of the attributes. You realize that you're not going to walk down the street and find a ruby, an emerald, a sapphire. You're not going to it's not going to be readily available to you. You have to look for it. You have to sometimes spend years in your life looking for gemstones, looking for what. So if this diamond here was found, this diamond took a billion years to make, and it takes a lot of effort. It takes to open up a diamond mine, you need at least $750 million just to open up a diamond mine. It's not that diamonds are rare. Gemstone quality diamonds are rare. And the larger the size, the more rare it is. So those of you who are buying an engagement ring and you wonder why a 1 carat might be $5,000 and a 2 carat could be $15,000 is because each time you have a carat, every time you go up a carat, it's called a magic number. You could buy a 0.999 and that price will be a completely different price. They're much lower price than a full 1 carat. So we talked about rarity. And I told you that the same rarity that we find in gemstones, we find in relationships, we find in people. If you want a relationship with someone, you have to realize the one is extremely rare. Extremely rare. We talk about love and romance and things like that, but to find the one that matches up to you, to find the one where you not only see the light performance of who they are, they see your light, they see who you are, is extremely rare. 50% of the people at least in the United States, are divorced. That shows you the rarity, like a gemstone, a relationship is. Last week, we talked about durability. Durability is the ability for a gemstone to last over the period of time. Gemstones are never found. Gemstones don't look like this when you first find them. This is a diamond, and this, it didn't come out of the ground looking like this. It had to survive millions and millions of years of erosion and rocks and other diamonds running up against it, making it smaller, smoothing it out. It's called alluvial diamonds, where it started in one place and they wind up being somewhere else. And that takes thousands, tens of thousands, millions of years. So a gemstone has to be durable. I love opals. I love pearls, but I would never use a pearl as a ring because I'm too hard on my jewelry. I would never do that in order to, I'm looking for something. Where is it? I can't find my cursor. Okay, anyhow, I would never use gemstones or a pearl ring because it just wouldn't, I'm too hard and I would hit it. So therefore, durability. What is something being durable? And the same thing, relationships. I talked to Barbara the other day, and Barbara told me that, I'm sorry, I'm looking for something. It's just irritating me. Anyhow, Barbara told me that J-Lo and Alex Rodriguez are done. They're done. So Alex Rodriguez bought J-Lo a ring, $1.7 million ring. She bought that ring. He bought that ring for J-Lo, and yet the relationship is over. Durability, which goes back to gem identification. Understanding who you're with, understanding the person that you have in your life, not that they're in your life and you met them and everything else. It's just, are they durable? A lot of relationships are not durable. They get together and they go, wow. And you meet this woman and she's like, oh my God. And she looks at you and you go, wow. But is the relationship durable? You give a person a diamond, which has a hardness of 10, the hardest substance known to man, but yet your relationship is a 2 or 1. And I told you last week that a 1 in terms of hardness is like graphite. It's a pencil. It's the lead that's in the pencil is the same molecular structure of that as a diamond. But a diamond is durable, and yet your relationship is not. It can be erased, just like a pencil. So this week, we're going to talk about beauty. Beauty is probably the most powerful of all the characteristics, of all the attributes of a gemstone. Beauty is the whole history of mankind really revolves around gemstones and precious metals and minerals. When you think about beauty, when you think about gemstones and you study gemstones, you realize that what people have done to get it. That's what excites me about gemology. I never was really excited. I didn't grow up with gemstones. I didn't grow up with the consciousness of having bling bling or jewelry. My thing, what fascinates me about gemstones is what people did to get them. What people did to the investments people made in order to just have a gemstone. And all that was based on beauty. Sure, diamonds and rubies and sapphires can be used for technology nowadays, and they have all types of commercial uses. But in the 13th, 14th, 15th century, they didn't know that. Think about it. In the 13th century, in the 15th century, what you would do is get on a ship. You and about 50 other guys would get on a wooden ship, not the Carnival Cruise Line, not Princess Cruise Line, a ship, a wooden ship. And you would sail across the ocean. It would take 3 months to get from the old world to the new world. You was on a ship with 50, 60 guys, no bathroom facilities. You were in a bucket. There was no showers. There was no beds with 500 count sheets, none of that. So you traveled 3 months, and with the full knowledge that friends of yours didn't make it, taking that same trip, looking for this piece of jewelry, this gemstone. Then once you got to the place, if you was fortunate enough not to die or to sink on the trip there, once you got there on the land, now you had to deal with the land, the indigenous population, the land itself, the indigenous species, the plants, cholera, all types of things, dysentery, just to get to that gemstone. Then once you got to the place, once you found the place where you thought, okay, diamonds are here, rubies are here, gold is here, then you had to dig for it. Then you had to find out whether you were right or not. All that investment, whether or not you were right. Gemstones, the whole civilizations have been created and destroyed for gemstones. And when you really think about it, it was all about beauty. Gemstones have been with us from the beginning of time, even in the Bible. And I'm going to stop for a second because there's friends and family of mine all over the world who are fainting right now because they're saying, oh my God, Barry is ready to quote the Bible again. Yes, Marty, I am. Even in the Bible, there's all types of mentions of gemstones. In the Old and the New Testament. In the Old Testament, let me see if I get this right. Let me see if I remember. In the Old Testament, gemstones can be found in Exodus 3:22. It can be found in 12:35 to 15 to 16, and also in the 28 9 to 21. We're talking about gemstones. We're talking, and in Exodus, we're talking about the breastplate of Aaron. The breastplate of Aaron. Okay, here we go. The breastplate of Aaron. So the breastplate of Aaron had 3 rows of gemstones. We had cornelian, crystal beryl, emerald, turquoise, sapphire, amethyst, jasmine, agate, basically some type of quartz, aquamarine, lapis lazuli, jasper. That's in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, Revelations 21:18 to 21. The book of Revelations talked about the kingdom of heaven. It talked about how heaven, the walls of heaven would be built with gemstones, and the gates of heaven will be made out of pearls, thus pearly gates. And when you think about this, all came about before we used gemstones for their industrial purposes, for their commercial purposes. So everything what people did with gemstones was based on beauty. Beauty is the most powerful of all the attributes because it's what moved us. It's what made men do the things that men do. And I don't know how long I had been studying gemology before I began to realize that the only other thing that can make a man do the things that he would do for a gemstone is a woman. And when I say woman, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I want those of you who have different tastes, just fill in the blank. When you see a gemstone, when you see the beauty of a gemstone, that same intoxication is how men feel about women when they first meet them. When you meet that woman that just, when you see her from across the room, it's the same feeling you get when you're looking at a gemstone. How many times have you walked into a room and saw that woman, where it seemed like all the light in the room was focused on her? How many times when you dating that girl, that woman, Marty's my friend, is on Monday show. Marty told me when he saw his wife, he thought to himself, oh my God, what am I going to do? How is it even possible for me to talk to someone like this? So Marty got on his own wooden ship, sailed. He would have been willing to sail the ocean with no guarantee whether or not he was going to make it or not, just to be with Christy. I've been married 3 times, or 2.5 times. I told you my last relationship lasted 10 years, so I consider that a marriage. And I remember each thing with every relationship. I remember how intoxicated I was, how I felt about being with her. I wrote poetry. I sent letters. I took a bath more often. I made sure my hair, I had hair then, was done. All the things that I did to be with that woman. Beauty. Beauty is what makes a gemstone exist. The value that we put in a gemstone 9 times out of 10 talks about beauty or color. When you talk about the gemstone, when you talk about this is the let's show you a better picture. This is called the La Parisienne. The La Parisienne. This is one of the largest pearls. This is one of the largest pearls on earth. This pearl was the pearl that literally Elizabeth I received, actually fought for, from the King of Spain, King Philip. Because King Philip didn't give this. He wanted to marry Elizabeth, but Elizabeth said no. So he married Elizabeth's sister, Mary. Some of you know her as Bloody Mary. And Mary wore this pearl every day of her life. She was so proud of it. And he gave, because of the beauty of it. And then because of the feud between Elizabeth and Mary, when Mary died soon after, maybe 3 years after she got the La Parisienne, Philip took it back. And when Elizabeth said, hey, Philip, my sister died, I'm mourning her. How about giving me her pearl? Because pearls were highly valued then. He said, no. He said, I'll give it to you. You marry me. She said, no, I'm not marrying you. You're still a creep. So she got angry because she get the pearl. So some of the wars that happened between England and Spain was because of this gemstone, because of the beauty of this gemstone. So when you begin to, as a gemologist, as a gemological appraiser, the thing that I have to learn how to do is to look at beauty in all its different manifestations. Every gemstone is not a diamond. A diamond's characteristics, the thing that makes a diamond beautiful, is not the thing that makes a pearl beautiful. Jade has a completely different feel. The energy, the molecular structure of jade, the beauty, the creamy color, the translucence of jade is what makes jade the stone of heaven. The stone of heaven. Jade has been around almost as long as pearls, 7,000 years, and it was just the beauty of that jade that made people do the things they do. So my question is, and a lot of the reason why I created this show is because I don't understand. I don't understand if beauty If one of the attributes of a gemstone, one of the primary attributes of a gemstone is beauty, and men will do whatever they need to do to obtain that beauty, then why isn't that same concept of beauty applied to people? And more importantly, applied to women. When a man obtains a gemstone, he already had the concept in his head of the value of that gemstone. That's what made him do the things he did, because he knew just to obtain that gemstone would make him, at least in his mind and his spirit, more powerful. When Napoleon was coronated, when he coronated himself, in fact, next week, not next week, the week after next, I'm going to do a whole show on Napoleon. Napoleon Bonaparte is one of my heroes when you understand who Napoleon was. And Napoleon crowned himself emperor. Napoleon was just a little, he wasn't really short actually, but people say that. But he didn't even come from France. When he crowned himself emperor, he wore this sword. This was his coronation sword. And I got a chance to touch that and feel that and experience, and you can feel the power of it 100 years later. So why, if those diamonds meant so much to him to wear those diamonds, why didn't Josephine, his wife, mean the same thing to him? He loved Josephine, but he didn't value Josephine in the same way that he valued these gemstones. That's the question that I have. When you obtain a gemstone, you understand the value of it, so you treat it with that type of value. When you have obtained, when you have earned the love of a woman who is at that moment your gemstone, she is the fever from which you shall never recover. Why isn't that same value applied to her? And you can't say, oh, well, she's gotten old or she's changed, because diamonds are at least 600 million years old. This is the billion-year-old stone. 1 billion years old. So when you met your woman and she was 24 and now she's 64, sure, she's different. But as a gemologist, what I can say is the same qualities, the same characteristic that existed in her 40 years ago is still there today. It's just different. As an appraiser, I don't get to really I can't allow myself to become too intoxicated by the beauty, because the beauty will take me in a different way. I'll just look at it and go, oh my God, it's beautiful. So it has to be this. It has to be this type of stuff. And that's not the way it works. If I look at these gemstones, if I look at these gemstones, and if I look at this green gemstone, is it an emerald? Is it peridot? I can't just get caught up in the beauty of it. What are the other aspects that make that gemstone what eventually I find out that it is? The same thing with the person that you love. What is their story? Why did you love them in the first place? Why are J-Lo and Alex Rodriguez getting, I can't even say divorced. They never got married. So he valued her. He loved her. Facebook, all these, they even bought a team together. But yet now, before they even got married, the relationship is over. I'm 60 years old, and I can't tell you how many beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful women I've met. And I'm not talking about externally. I'm talking about internally. Who they are, their spirit. J-Lo is, oh my God, beautiful. But is J-Lo the kind of gemstone that I need? Would J-Lo be able to deal with the things that I am as a person? And the person who may not look, the woman who may not look like J-Lo, if that woman loves me, if that woman encourages me, if that woman empowers me, if that woman whether she's cooking or taking care of my children, things of this. That is my gemstone. And she doesn't lose her attributes, she only gains. That's the difference between a woman and a gemstone. A diamond, a ruby, an emerald is always going to be this. This diamond will never change. This diamond, the Graf heart, the Graf Venus diamond, the heart shape. This is the largest heart-shaped diamond in the world. In 1 billion years from now, this diamond will look exactly the same way. Your woman, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, the person that's in your life will change, but that change, they will only grow their attributes of what makes them beautiful. I don't understand how we live in a world where men do the things that they do to women. I really don't. I am really hurt by the reports that I read about the molestation and the rape and all these other things that women do, because men would never do that to a gemstone. They would never work that hard to earn the love and respect. Well, not love, but to earn the things that they had to do to get a diamond. Those Spanish conquistadors that traveled that far, that went that much, that did all those things, when they held that gold in their hand, they felt like their life would change. When Napoleon wore that sword, when he wore that sword was a symbol of who he had become. Your wife, your girlfriend, the person that you say, this is the one, that is your symbol. No different than that. No different than that sword. No, this necklace is the necklace that started the French Revolution. Marie Antoinette, this was a necklace supposedly for Marie Antoinette that she never received. But yet the French Revolution was started overnight. So the beauty of this necklace did not transfer to the beauty of the people, of what the French people represented. So what I wanted you to take away from today's show, today's episode, is the three attributes of what makes a gemstone a gemstone. And apply that to the people that you're in your life. Ask yourself, is that person you love, is he or she rare? Think about how long it took you to get into that relationship, to feel what you feel right now being with them. And if you don't feel like that right now, remember when you did. Remember when all the light seemed to concentrate on that person, when you looked into her eyes and you just felt like, when she was your gemstone, and how rare that feeling is. Those of you who have been in long-term relationships or marriages, take pride in how durable your relationship is, how you've survived kids, the mortgage, bill pay, coronavirus, all these things. You have survived. Your relationship, like a gemstone, is durable. And then you can begin to think, what else do you have to do to continue that feeling of durability? Baby, we gonna make it. Ride and die. And then the last today, beauty. See the beauty of your partner. Take a moment to look at, like I have to do as a gemologist, notice the way that person in your life interacts with the light. Remind yourself of the gemstone that she was, and think, take a time to reflect on all the different types of gemstones she has become during your relationship, during the time that you've been together. See the beauty in each other. Every time you see a woman, understand that a woman is the final product of what God did. See, I believe that God, who is a woman, as far as I'm concerned, what God did with gemstones, this was his practice. When God made emeralds, when she made emeralds, that was just practice for the woman. for the woman that she was eventually going to make. That gem. And when you understand beauty, you will understand that there is no difference between this diamond and this woman. That is what I want you to get out of today's episode. So next week, we're going to talk about desirability. And until then, take a moment in your life today to begin to discover the value of your own stories. Au revoir.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Good morning. How is everybody doing? It is Wednesday. You know, I've been calling this Wisdom Wednesday for some reason. I don't know. It just kind of popped in my head. In fact, Barry kind of reminded me of that because he said, I noticed you've been doing a few like commercials or inserts about Wisdom Wednesday. He said, that's kind of cool. And I come on it too because I talk about the gym. So I said, you know what? I might as well just leave it that way. Sometimes things just kind of just work itself out. You'd be like, that's a thought. Okay, let's go for it. It sometimes doesn't take long just to establish and put things in order. So yes, this is kind of our Wisdom Wednesday today. And I'm loving it. Barry talked about, really seeking how, I love how he says the beauty is not just the outer, and I think we all, including myself, I have to admit, especially when I was much younger, that I looked at the outer appearance of, people, especially men. And it's funny because sometimes things instill in you from your childhood. My mother was the type of person that is, okay, if he doesn't look this way or this way, don't talk to him. And she's instilled that in me. And then all of a sudden I started going to school and everything and getting a little bit older. And I'm like looking at the same kind of concept that she put in my head. And it was wrong because I didn't even get a chance to really get to know that person, to see the inner beauty instead of just seeing the outer. And I love how Barry just took it all in today and just really explained to us that, the beauty that's inside is going to last. The outside, yeah, it's going to get older. You're going to get more wisdom, more knowledge, and all that stuff as you get older. But that inside that they have in them, the love and the compassion and their gifts, and like I always talk about with their purpose, passion, drive, all that's wrapped up in that. And you need to really get to know that person for who they are and just not for their outer looks. So, now we're gonna be blunt here. You want to see a pretty, nice, handsome, lady or man. We're not like totally like, okay, I'm not seeing anything, but you have to surpass that. That's what we're trying to say is surpass it. Okay, ooh, she looks good. Ooh, he looks handsome. And then get deeper into it, especially if you're going to be creating a relationship with somebody that you want to live forever. You need to understand their good, bad, and ugly and still love them for who they are. So that's my little take on it. And then what they said, this is my story and I'm sticking to it. So let's get right into the Queen Laura Armstrong. As you know, she brings us so much information when it comes to personality and understanding people, who they are, and when you're talking to them, how to talk to a person when you meet them and really understand. I love to say cracking their bank code, as we call it. So she's going to come on and she's going to always give us some information, tips, and just some learning experience about that part of it. Because guess what? We talk to each other every day. If it's not one-on-one, if it's not like here, like on video, we're either on the phone or we're texting. We need to make sure that we are leveraging that, because that's how you create relationships. That's how you create relationships. So to me, this is like a huge thing compared to everything you can learn in life, is learning how to talk to each other. This is part of life. This is what we do. So I'm going to bring in Miss Queen Laura. Here she comes.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another amazing day on this earth. I am Laura Armstrong, your leadership and communication expert. And today we are going to continue speaking about our iOS intelligence coaching program. And why I thought this was so important to bring as a series was because I feel like there's a lot of coaching programs out there, and I think all of them have value. But what I love about this is it's actually going to allow you to create dynamic change, not only in your business, but in your life. See where all of the holes are, where things are falling through the cracks, where things have become not so important, or maybe it's not your strength. And not only that, it's going to allow you and give you the tools to shore those things up so that you are moving forward in a strong way and feeling not only vital in your business and your life, but that you are proactively helping others to embrace their greatness as well. So the first, I'll just do a quick review. The first module that we talked about was personality intelligence, and that's speaking to someone's values or their bank code, because I use a coding methodology called BANK. The second module was sales intelligence, right? I found when I did this, I was really weak in sales intelligence. I was great connecting with people. I was great speaking to them about what I had, hearing about them, connecting them to others, but not closing the sale. And, and I've gotten, since I took this, like my sales have skyrocketed. So I can tell you that it actually works. The third module we did was emotional intelligence, which has become the new buzzword, right? But actually, it's been around for a long time. And, that's your presence, who you are, how you treat people, your empathy, your compassion, all those things that differentiate you from people. And really, really good leaders and people who communicate really well are enough space for everyone, right? So they can bring people into their circle or have people approach them that aren't necessarily comfortable, but they're willing to be space around so that person can express themselves and not have judgment around that, right? And that's really a skill that you have to learn with experience, right? And you really, to get good at all of this stuff, have to get out of your own head, because it's not really about you, right? So it's really about the person you're talking to. And once we start to see that, everything becomes clear and everything starts to fall in place. Okay. And then we talked about artificial intelligence and how that's impacting us now as a norm on society, and how we can use that to our advantage when we're connecting with others so that our communication can be that much better, using it at a higher level. Right. And today we're going to talk about business intelligence. And there's a lot in this module, so I'm going to try and get it in as quickly as possible. So the module for business intelligence is a technology-driven process for analyzing data, okay? And this is not my strong point, but once I started doing this, everything changed for me. And presenting actionable information to help business owners make informed business decisions, okay? Because I think a lot of the business decisions we make, oh yeah, that looks good, or she recommended that, or maybe I'll try it out, right? So an informed business decision means like what's exactly going to happen moving forward. So you're going to leverage all the tools that I had talked about, identify behavior and buying patterns in your target market, and we're going to work on your ideal customer avatar. And you've heard people talk about this, right? And you can do this with all the contacts and customers in your network, okay? So when your business intelligence is at a high level, it's going to, so data drives informed decisions. So when your business intelligence is at a high level, like I said, you're going to be able to describe your ideal client with precision, target your ideal client with strategic marketing campaigns. And for me, this was a weakness, because I was just kind of like throwing paint at the wall and seeing what would stick, right? And that just doesn't work, right? I need to close more sales in less time to my ideal client. So if I'm talking to 5 people, I'm closing 5 people. If I'm talking to 50, I'm not closing 5, right? I want to make sure that I'm properly targeting who I'm talking to. You're going to develop products and services that delight your ideal clients. Okay, so you see where this is coming back to, always your ideal client. Focus your resources where it counts the most. Okay, now time is more precious than ever. And, burnout is a real thing, right? And so make sure that what you're doing is impactful and it's moving you forward. Okay, learn where you need to pivot and change paths before you meet obstacles. So look ahead. Don't just wait till something hits you in the head. If I do this, what will happen here? Or if this happens, what will I do? Right? So you want to be clear about that, and defining your priorities, right? You want to make smarter business decisions and refocus your efforts to gather information and improve your business intelligence. Okay, so let's talk about defining your marketing avatar. I'm just going to give you a few things that you can use to do that. I'm sure you've heard of other people who do just specific trainings on this. It's a great thing to do. So you could ask some questions like, where do they work? Where do they live? Where do they play? This is just as important, because, if I've got someone who's an accountant, but he likes to go skydiving, that tells me that there's an adventure or action side of him that I need to tap into, right? But yet if he's a high blueprint, it means he loves processes and systems. So he's probably looked up the company that does skydiving, make sure they got all the rules and regulations around it. But he's willing to take the jump, right? As long as everything fits his process, right? So, all parts of someone's life are important to know. We don't always get that opportunity in business, but getting to create and cultivate the relationship with them is going to allow you a deeper picture of that. So that's where you really want to go. Where do they socialize? Right now it's limited, but you know what? That's, there could be groups that they're online with. What clubs, associations, and networks do they belong to? Have you met them through your networking group? Is there a specific group that's niche to them that they go to that they like? How old are they? What is their gender? What is their occupation? What is their business, right? These are all standard questions that I'm sure you've heard before. This one is kind of interesting. What business hours do they keep? Okay, so for a lot of us who are entrepreneurs, sometimes we're on 24/7, right? I've really had to set boundaries around my time, right? I don't do anything on weekends. And at 5, maybe 7 o'clock, I shut it down because, I just can't do anymore. My brain starts to, scramble. So what are their business hours? Maybe they work part-time. I don't know. So, you want to be checking that out. What level of education do they have? What's their annual income, and what pain, this is the most important as far as I'm concerned, what pain are they experiencing that you help alleviate or solve? What do they need from you? Okay, they are out there. Your client is just waiting for you. I'm telling you that. And someone, very smart, Domingo Silva, so I'm going to give him a shout out. Your client is just waiting for you. You have what they need. So you need to make sure that what you're offering is to the right person. Okay. So now that you've kind of thought about who your ideal avatar is, you're going to use that in your networking introductions, your 30-second, your marketing materials, your websites, your presentations. Okay. And the way to narrow down this information, I'm going to give you a little hint here. You can create this on your own. So you're going to write down questions to these answers. Okay, and this is kind of how you can create your own UVP, your unique value proposition, what you offer. And all of this is very important to have in your business intelligence when you're working on it. I work with, and then you're going to put your ideal client description, who struggles with, what the pain is that they have, okay, and who really desires, and that's going to be the solution that you provide. Okay, so basically, you're telling them who you work with, that's your niche market, what problem you solve, what solution you give them, and the benefits to that. Okay, because they need to know what that is, right? All right, cool. So moving on to the next part. Let's see here. The second part of the business intelligence that I think is really important is key performance indicators, KPIs. And like you may have heard that before, excuse me, in your business conversations or at some point. So key performance indicators are a measurable value that demonstrates how effectively a person or company is achieving key business objectives, right? So organizations use KPIs to evaluate success, reaching their targets. And, a lot of companies have business plans. So they have, these are my targets for the next 6 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, whatever it is, right? Whatever demographic they put around it. And then also they do it in phases, okay? So you want to do yourself a favor, start identifying your KPIs. So that means that you're going to identify the date you started, the description of what it is, okay? Your target and, are you moving forward or backward? What the name of it is and how often it happens and what really went on, right? And any extra notes you have. So let me review that. So you want to put the date and the name of the KPI that you're putting down. So for instance, so I'm going to put today's date and website project. My KPI name is website completion. The description is to create a new website for me that is branded properly. The frequency, I would work on it every day, but have weekly meetings with my webmaster. My target is to have it done by the end of the month. But right now we're probably a week behind, so the actual is looking probably a month and a half instead of a month. And things are moving forward, but I had this happen, so we took a step back, but now we're moving forward again. And in the notes, anything extra. So that gives you an example of how to create a KPI tracker, right? And this allows you to keep an eye on things. And I am not a big tracker. I am not a big process person. And, I don't have a lot, I'm not big on systems, but I'm telling you, if you want to shift your business intelligence and step up your business and your life in bringing in all 4 of the other intelligences, you need higher business intelligence. Okay. And that means stepping into these things that are a bit uncomfortable for you, because I can tell you, once it makes you uncomfortable, it means you're moving. All right. So what you want to do is check in regularly on your KPIs and ask these 3 questions. What is working based on the data I'm tracking? What is not working? And what will I do differently when I'm doing my next KPI? Okay. So I really think that these are essential things to be talking about. Another part of business intelligence that's really a key factor when you're working on that, you want to make sure that you also do a SWOT on yourself. And a SWOT analysis takes an inventory of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, right? So basically, you have to define what you're analyzing, right? Is it your business as a whole, or perhaps you want to focus on a particular project? But, having all 4 of those and writing down actually all of the different things in your project and where they fit in that SWOT analysis is not only going to give you a snapshot of where you are, but also what you need to improve, okay, and what you need to step up. So if you're not the expert in something, get someone who is, right? Because I'm telling you, I spend time on the things that I have genius in. I don't spend times on things like, social media or marketing or creating websites or technology. Like, that is not my thing, right? So whatever your thing is, make sure you stick to your lane. Okay. And someone, very smart told me this yesterday, like, stick to your lane, stay in your lane, bring in the partners you want to work with. And that's where things will start to happen, because you're not spending time out here doing something that you're not sure of, that you hope will work and you will be able to do because you wanted to save some money or you wanted to figure it out, right? When your genius is here, right? And so stay in your genius, because that's really what is the important thing here. And remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And we all know who quoted that, Albert Einstein. Okay. So make sure you do your SWOT, because I think it's really key for you to actually having dynamic change in your business and giving you a real-time look at where your business intelligence is. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about before we kind of finish up here is another thing that you can do to boost your business intelligence. And an important part of that is collecting testimonials, both written and video recorded, right? You want to make sure that your testimonials are real, okay? And ask people that have worked with you directly, that have had dynamic change. And maybe they've had a bit of a struggle working through what you've taught them, right? Like the struggle, everybody wants to hear the story of how they came out the other side through the struggle, right? And that's so, so important, right? So today now more than ever, video testimonials are way more powerful. Testimonials are great for written things that people are reading or need a snapshot of, but make sure you've got that video testimonial as well, okay? And when you're doing asking them to do the video testimonial, you want to have it structured, okay? And the written is the same. So basically, it would be in a formal interview, you would have a situation, an action, and a result. And I'll give you an example. So situation would be, you're going to share your before situation. Okay. It could relate to money, energy, confidence, closing rate, awareness, velocity, whatever it is that, was the before situation. Okay. And the next one is the action. So share a brief description about how the power of what you taught or what you did, or specific experience or meaningful moment that you had during the program or whatever it is people interacted with you on. Okay, that's the action. And then the result. So you're going to share the result. It could be you have more confidence, closing sales faster, more revenue. I finally got organized, or it's taught me I'm missing this, this, and this, and I need to have a business plan, whatever it is. Okay, so you want the situation, the action, and the result. And that will be a powerful testimonial for you. Okay, so that's a little bit about our business intelligence. I covered a lot in a very short amount of time, but I really feel like it's an important intelligence to go over, right? And don't forget to integrate the other 4 that we've already talked about: personality, sales intelligence, emotional intelligence, and artificial intelligence. Once you start to integrate all of those other intelligences into your business intelligence, not only do you not have to work as hard, but it's doing a lot of the work for you. So all of the legwork is like you've already done a lot of it. You're just starting to bring it all together. All right. So that's our pod on business intelligence for today. Next week, join me. We're going to do our 6th and final one called spiritual intelligence. And I'm not talking woo-woo here. I'm talking about the different levels of practical spiritual intelligence that you can apply to your business to actually step up and step into the game in a deeper, richer way, being more impactful and influential in other people's lives. So you want to make sure that you've got all of the steps in there on your spiritual intelligence, or I'm telling you, if something's missing, you're going to have to go back and fix it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that next week. It's been awesome to talk to you this week, as usual. I will see you next week, where we'll go over spiritual intelligence. Have a great day. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
I'm hanging on your every word. The love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more. So here we are, just you and me. I'm overwhelmed when you touch me. You talk so sweet, I hear the sound, 'cause when you do, my feet won't touch the ground. My feet won't touch the
ground. We're back. Thank you, Queen Laura, see, I told you she's always giving some good tips. I hope people have a pen and paper out when you're listening to Barry and Laura. I'm just going to say, I mean, I know I can't be in your zone because of, the virtual thing, but, just look at me as like coming into your house or coming into your office. I know some people are like, oh, don't do that. But just coming in and saying, get a piece of paper, get a pen. I'm the one that's nagging you. I'm like, take them notes. Listen to what they have to say. Reach out to them. And the list goes on. I mean, I'm telling you, these wonderful experts come on, take the time to give you information. Use it. Reach out to them. They're here for you. Believe me. And you can see how awesome they are and amazing they are and wonderful. So this is for Wednesday. Now we'll be back on Friday. We're going to have some other ladies that were part of the Level Up conference that was last week. So I still have some of them coming on. So just to let everybody know, you'll be seeing more and more speakers and authors and business people I'm going to be interviewing more and more of. And just to let you know, if you would like to have a spot on the Diamond Factory Experience with Barbara Beckley and just to have a platform to show your business, you are welcome. All you have to do is reach out to me and we will talk about that. So this is like I said, one of my missions is to make sure that people to show their PPD, their purpose, passion, and drive to the world, because it's so important. You don't know who you could be touching through your business, through just a personal relationship. It could be anything. But if people don't know who you are or they don't see you, it's kind of like a hidden secret. Why hide it if it can help others? So with that, like I said, reach out to me if you're interested, if you want to come on the show. If you want to be a sponsor, as you see these commercials that are coming, these are all my wonderful, great sponsors. And, if you have a product, service, call me and I'm here to help you in any kind of light. So I want to just say that we need to still just remind everybody to still show the love. Still show the love today for individuals. Yesterday this is not a hidden thing. I'm just going to put the elephant in the room. As you all know, there was a verdict yesterday that came in, and basically for the George Floyd case, and basically it was justice that was done. As I sat back and I heard the verdict, and then we were all, a lot of people were celebrating. Some people weren't celebrating. I mean, let's just put it out there. This nation right now, this world, we're still in that division cycle right now. And there's some people saying, yes, justice, thank you for finally getting to that point, for especially our Black and brown. And then you have, and some Caucasian too, and other racial. Then you got some that are like, they feel like there was an injustice by saying he was guilty. So you got both sides of the fence here. What I want to say is, either way, we need to still move forward in the fight. This is a small thing that we need to move forward in. This is not it. I don't want people to be sitting and thinking that, oh, this was good. Okay, now we can, no, we have to keep moving when it comes to fighting for justice. It's been 400 some years for the Black and brown people in this world, and we're still fighting. We're still fighting. It's nice to have the little victories. Like I always say, count the little victories for the big victory, but we have to get to the big victory. So the thing that I keep telling people is the biggest thing out of getting justice is to show love and compassion towards each other. I don't care what race you are. We need to show that love. That's going to bring us completely out, is showing the love. So with that, reach out to an individual today, maybe somebody that you just met, and just let them know, you were thinking about them, how are they doing? It don't have to be a long conversation. I know people talking about how busy they are, but just reach out. Demonstrate that love. It's going to take each and every one of us, each and any individual in this world, to do that, to move forward, so we can have more victories. That's going to be a positive movement, not so much of now it has to be so, in court and in trials. It shouldn't have to be that way to get a victory. We need to show love amongst each other without being in front of a court. And then things like that wouldn't happen in life. So show the love. I tell people, your PPD, your purpose, passion, drive, that love thrives from there. What your gifts and your talents thrive to love. So make sure you take that on every single second. I'm not going to say every single day, but every single second of the day, because it takes an ongoing thing to do that. Repetition is the key. So let's keep repeating love over and over again. And believe me, we will see things change for the best in this world. With that, I will see you on Friday. Like I said, I got a special guest and some speakers that are coming on from the Level Up Conference. And I always say, I'm going to do it. I have to do it because it's part of my brand. Whatever you do, shine your PPD. Just like I said, shine like that diamond factor in you. We will see each other on Friday and talk to you soon. Bye.